Straight ahead on CCX News, the heinous act in a Target parking lot that has Crystal police searching for answers. Plus, a Crystal veteran who had to cope with the battlefield now has to endure a different fight. And later, a Maple Grove business that knows its way around the kitchen without actually stepping foot in one. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone and thanks for joining us. A viral video of an assault has Crystal police looking for answers.
The video shows what police call an unprovoked attack of a teen with a physical disability. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Mike and Alex, the incident happened Saturday morning outside the Crystal Target store. One of the individuals responsible recorded the incident and posted it on Facebook. The heinous act has since been removed from the social media site.
I watched the video as well, and I can't see anything this young person did to provoke the attack. It seemed like an unprovoked attack for no reason.
In the video, 3 juveniles approached the victim when all of a sudden, one of them slaps the teen. When the teen walked away, one of the juveniles kicked him from behind, causing him to fall to the ground. The video then appears to show the juveniles laughing and running off with the victim's shoes. Crystal police say the victim didn't suffer any substantial injuries, but they want the suspects to be held accountable.
We have to get a hold of these individuals. We have to talk to them, find out what their intent was. You know, until we do that, it could change, things could change, and until we get complete the investigation, it's hard to say exactly what they're going to be charged with.
Police say that if anybody finds themselves in a similar situation, the best advice is to draw as much attention to the incident as you can, or if possible, get away from the group as fast as you can. Meanwhile, investigators say the victim identified the 3 attackers by name, so they're hoping to bring the case to a conclusion as soon as possible. Mike and Alex?
All right, thanks, Delane. Local veterans groups are rallying behind a Crystal man critically injured in a motorcycle accident.
The Afghan war vet has a long road ahead of him, but tonight there's a dose of good news. Here's Sonia Goins.
In an instant, everything's changed.
Lisa and Joelle Faraci wish they could forget what happened on September 3rd.
It's your worst nightmare. You just can't.
I can't breathe.
Yeah,
it's just
you
devastating.
Can't believe what's happening.
37-year-old Gino Faraci Jr. was on his way to meet the family when he hit a patch of gravel and lost control of his bike as he rode along Bass Lake Road and County Road 81.
He flew over the handlebars and pretty much just landed right on his head.
Gino was not wearing a helmet and sustained a traumatic brain injury. He was put on life support.
He has 3 fractures. He's got one going straight across this way, basically from ear to ear.
Gino was in an induced coma. It was touch and go for a few days.
You're spending a whole week of your life just praying.
But finally the family got the news they were praying for. Gino opened his eyes and recognized his family.
He actually put his arm up and pulled me in for a hug and kissed me on the cheek.
He's still sleeping a lot, but doctors took him off the ventilator.
We really didn't know if he was going to make it or if he was going to get any of his brain was going to function properly.
While the accident changed Gino, it also has had an impact on his family. They say they don't take things for granted anymore.
Gino and I used to talk every day on the phone. He would always call me on his way home, and I really miss that.
Lisa and Joelle aren't sure if Gino will ever ride again, but they know the bike is pretty special to him. A few years ago, Gino's dad surprised Gino by giving him the motorcycle to honor his service in Afghanistan.
Everybody was so happy for him to get that bike, and you know, they knew what was going on, but the only one we didn't know was our son.
Gino's family says their friends at the VFW, American Legion, and other local groups have carried them through this ordeal. They say it's a blessing.
We don't have to have a lot of money, but we've got our family, and that's the jewels of life, and our friends, and you know, so our jewel bag is pretty full.
Now, Gino's in critical condition, but improving. His family tells me he'll have to learn how to walk again. Meanwhile, there are several fundraisers to help him pay for medical bills. Beyond the Yellow Ribbon is holding a charity golf tournament at the New Hope Golf Club on September 28th. Now, Mike and Alex, folks can also donate through Wells Fargo. We have all that information on our website, ccxmedia.org.
All right, good to know. Thank you, Sonia. Well, this weekend, dozens of runners in Brooklyn Park came out to support veterans struggling with their mental health. And some runners made it even more challenging by carrying a bit of extra weight. According to the Veterans Administration, vets are 20% more likely to commit suicide than the general public. Money raised from the 5K run goes to a group called 23rd Veteran, which helps transition soldiers to civilian life.
We train our brains not to trust anybody in combat, man, woman, or child. We're watching everyone for a weapon or for a trigger, and that doesn't change just because we take a flight back to the United States. We try to go out to a restaurant, it's very uncomfortable for us. We want to have our back to the wall.
The event, organized by the Palmer Lake VFW, raised $4,000.
Despite the national unemployment rate hovering around 4%, the unemployment rate for people who are blind surges above 65%. Disability advocate Michael Hingson brought that statistic to light in a talk at North Hennepin Community College. Hingson, who has been blind since birth, escaped the World Trade Center on 9/11 with the help of a guide dog. Since then, he has become a best-selling author.
It's not that we can't do the job, it's that people think we can't do the job, and that's got to change. I know people in this country who are blind who legally get 20 cents an hour. That's disgusting. It's all under the assumption that we can't work and we're not given the opportunity. That's got to change.
Hingson says new technology often helps bridge the gap for people with disabilities.
Tuesday marks one of the largest sign-up days of the year for Boy Scouts, and you might have seen the superhero signs around town alerting you to school night for scouting. Volunteers at more than 700 elementary schools in the Northern Star Council will offer free activities.
It's fun, but it's fun with friends, and so you can do things with others. A second part of it is it does have that kind of outdoor and experiential aspect, so you get a chance to try a lot of new things. And really the third thing is the whole idea of service to others. You want to try, we teach people to help other people at all times.
School night for scouting goes from 6 to 7 p.m. on Tuesday, and you can learn more at heroescouts.org. Still ahead, a Maple Grove company shines a light on the highly competitive restaurant industry.
Plus, Maple Grove battles Minnetonka in a top 10 prep football matchup.
But first, we continue to take a walk on the mild side, highs in the mid-70s on Tuesday. Well, by this time next year, a Brooklyn Park church hopes to be harvesting vegetables from a brand new community garden. St. Gerard's wants to promote access to healthy food and reach out to diverse groups from Asia and Africa.
The people from these areas are known for their love of gardening, and so we feel that this is a wonderful opportunity to get to know one another and build community.
The church received a health improvement grant from Hennepin County to help with the costs. They'll take applications from gardeners starting in January. Well, it's not uncommon to learn that a restaurant is closing or a new one is opening up.
There is a high turnover rate in the industry, and in this week's Business Matters, a Maple Grove company is in the middle of it all.
All right, we got a couple of 60-quart mixers.
Greg Christian is not a restaurant owner.
These are little mixers that can do all that work that needs to be done around the restaurant.
But Greg does know how difficult it is to make a restaurant work.
We know the majority of anybody that goes into a restaurant business is not going to make it. But the good news for us is there's always someone else that'll come in and wants to do the restaurant business.
At Auction Masters in Maple Grove, there's a warehouse full of used restaurant equipment, 20 truckloads worth, and it's all up for sale right now. No need for a fast-talking auctioneer.
It used to be a live auction, but for the last 12 years, it's all online. No more yakety-yak around here.
Greg and his wife Sharon have owned this small business for around 30 years, and auctioning off restaurant equipment is their bread and butter.
We take a percentage, and the owner gets the majority of what that item sells for.
From old restaurant signs to refrigeration units and everything in between, there's always a new person eager to pick up and start where another restaurant owner has stopped.
We're going to be able to buy things for 25 cents to 50 cents on the dollar.
In recent years, Auction Masters has helped liquidate restaurants such as Toby Keith's in St. Louis Park and Triggs in Uptown, but none have been quite like the online auction for Nye's Polonaise Room in Minneapolis.
Had such popularity, and the prices were nuts. Never saw anything like it. Bar stools went for $450. I mean, wow, just because of that nostalgia.
It's not always a restaurant closing that brings in goods. Sometimes it's just a kitchen dish change or upgrade.
And this comes from Russell's on the Lake in Big Lake.
Still, it's the natural ebb and flow of area restaurants that keeps this small business in business.
We've got a very steady business.
Still ahead, a big need for blood donations. See how car lovers are stepping up to help.
But first, Cooper piles up the points against a longtime nemesis in football. John Jacobson has the highlights next in sports.
And he's in the end zone for a quick touch.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Cooper is rated 8th in Class 5A football. Through the years, Hawks teams have struggled against Spring Lake Park, never winning against the Panthers. Well, that changed Friday night. Ante Burns, the Hawks' all-conference linebacker, takes the opening kickoff from Spring Lake Park, finds an opening, and takes this one 76 yards for a touchdown. And Cooper is on top just like that, 7-0. Leading 12-0 early in the second quarter. It's quarterback Cameron King completing a quick pass to Adrian Adams. And it's Adams off to the races. He goes 51 yards for a touchdown here, and Cooper leads it 19-0. Next possession for Spring Lake Park, and the running back is stripped of the football. Nate Hill emerges, and he goes around the end for a defensive touchdown. Hill's score makes it 26-0. Late in the first half, King back to work again. He fires a strike here. Torian Kane hauls it in. The 29-yard touchdown play. And Cooper dominating play on both sides of the ball, and the lead 38-0 at halftime. Third quarter, King throws his 5th touchdown of the game. This one to Phoenix Sproles. Cooper wins 44-7. It's their first ever win over Spring Lake Park. After an opening game loss to Chanhassen, Armstrong has now won 2 straight. The Falcons dominated their first football game against Hopkins since 2009. They renewed their rivalry on Friday night. After being pinned deep by a punt, Armstrong makes a big play. Tyler Fliss to Ty Bowman, who spins out of a tackle, and he is gone. 95 yards on the touchdown play, and it's 7-0 Falcons. Later in the first quarter, another big strike. Fliss looks deep to Nasheem Lozier, and he has a step on the defender. This one not quite as long, still 76 yards though. The Falcons' lead is now 14-0. After they add a field goal, Jesse Sherwood takes a handoff, makes a nice cut, and finds his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Armstrong dominates the first half, and they lead it 24-0. And the Falcons' defense plays well. Michael Wozniak gets the tackle for loss. What a 14 tackles for him in the game. Armstrong improves to 2-1 with a 31-6 win. Maple Grove started the season with 2 wins, and they moved up to number 2 in the Class 6A rankings. Crimson had a good test on the road. They traveled to Minnetonka to face the 5th-ranked Skippers. First quarter, Tonka quarterback Aaron Severson runs it in from 4 yards out at 6-0, less than 4 minutes into the game. Second quarter, Tonka deep in Crimson territory again. Severson rolls out and hits William Clough for a 4-yard touchdown pass, and it's 12-0. They'd add another score to go ahead 20-0. But the Crimson will come back starting late in the second quarter. Curtis Haugen, nice pass here to Ben Schroeder. This goes for 27 yards, and it's 20-7 at halftime. Early in the third quarter, it's Crimson running back Evan Hull loose down the sideline. He takes this one 68 yards for a touchdown. Hull rushes for 197 yards in the night, and it's 20-14. Maple Grove's next possession, it's Haugen throwing the middle screen to Joe Raymond. He's got blockers in front of him, and Raymond goes 38 yards for the touchdown. Andy Peterson adds an extra point. It's 21-20 Crimson. The Minnetonka scores to go ahead, and in the game's final minute, Hull stopped short on the 4th and inches play. Skipper's defense holds. They win an exciting one over the Crimson, 28-21. Champlin Park also jumped out to a 2-0 start. The Rebels faced a good opponent on the road, another top 10 matchup. This one, Champlin Park meeting St. Michael Albertville, the first time ever. Interception sets up the Rebels in good position. Devin Gray taking advantage, scores. Champlin Park has the lead. Special teams misplay by STMA sets up another score. Joey Folds scores. He goes in for a touchdown there. They get a 2-point conversion and lead at 14-0. Mitchell Cardus will take a handoff for the Knights, and he has a lot of green in front of him. He goes 68 yards for the score on the way to a big night. Field goal pulls STMA within 14-10 at the half. Third quarter, Gray gets in front for a short touchdown, scoring his second TD of the night. Champlin Park is up 21-10, but it's mostly St. Michael from there. Cardus will score another touchdown. He goes for 218 yards in the night. STMA rallies past Champlin Park 31-21. Man, that is a look at sports for today. Alex and Mike, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. We'll be right back. And finally, a local car club is about to present a big check to charity.
It's all thanks to a car show they held over the weekend.
We're at the first ever inaugural Smoke Signals charity auto show.
Early on Saturday morning, car lovers from 3 states are at Mystic Lake Casino, revved up to help Memorial Blood Centers.
This is a big thing to help out and draw attention to. They save a lot of lives with the blood they're able to get. Anything we can do to really just try and give back with our luxury fun toys is the main goal.
More than 100 people brought cars and cash.
Lots and lots of beautiful cars in every make, model, era you could imagine here today.
And Memorial Blood Centers say they couldn't have picked a better time.
Desperate need of blood right now with Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma having done their thing.
It's the first time they've done this show, and Robbinsdale resident and Dodge Challenger enthusiast Rosemary Frank helped put it all together.
We needed a car show to promote our Challengers, as well as do some charity work out there in the general eye.
And for a first-time show, Rosemary couldn't be happier with the turnout.
I am totally ecstatic. As a matter of fact, pre-registration, I had numbers of 189.
As is Memorial Blood Centers.
These are really important because we get a lot of first-time donors at events like this, so we can show them a good time. It's not as scary as they think it is.
And the show goers say that's what makes events like this extra special.
It's just fun to be able to have an awesome hobby, but then be able to turn around and use it in a way to help other people.
Well, the car show raised more than $2,000 for Memorial Blood Centers. And that's it. That'll do it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here again on Tuesday, starting at 4 o'clock.